Welcome to Revolutionary War Rarities, the podcast of the Sons of the American Revolution. Like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast in your favorite application. You can also follow our podcast at fastfunhistory.com. For education resources provided by the National Society Sons of the American Revolution, go to education.sar.org. And now, Revolutionary War Rarities.
Thanksgiving Special. Hi everyone and welcome to Season 2, the Thanksgiving Special of Revolutionary War Rarities. My name is Jim Griffith.
And my name is Jim Maple.
And I've got to tell you, Jim, we are in a very, very special place today. The surroundings may look familiar to you. We are actually in the Oval Office. It may not be the Oval Office that you're thinking about. This is not in Washington, D.C. We are actually at the American Village in Montevallo, Alabama. So we want to make sure and get that out there at the very beginning. We're very thankful to them. If you've not visited the American Village, we certainly recommend visiting this. It is I get the only way I know to really put it, it's almost like a little mini Colonial Williamsburg.
Yes, it is. And we're in a full-size replica of the Oval Office.
And throughout this video, I'm sure we will be showing you kind of our surroundings, the things that we're looking at here. But we do have the Resolute desk. We've got all the paintings that are standard in the President's office with us here today. So we're thankful to be here. Now, first of all, I want to welcome you to our Thanksgiving Special. Thanksgiving has a tremendous history, as there have been numerous Thanksgiving proclamations. Today, we're going to explore some of the history of Thanksgiving as we celebrate this holiday.
This is such a wonderful time of the year, Jim, and has so many special memories for so many special people. And today we have a very special person joining us today. He is President General of the Sons of the American Revolution, the top officer for our 38,000 members. And his name is President General John L. Dodd, and John is from California. President General Dodd, welcome to Revolutionary War Rarities. We are thankful to have you here with us today to bring your holiday wishes.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me today. Your Revolutionary War Rarities podcast is an important component of the SAR's educational mission. I congratulate you on your success and your growing audience. Thanksgiving, to me, is the most American of holidays. You'll be discussing the history of Thanksgiving some more in this podcast, so I won't steal your thunder. I would just ask, as folks gather together with their family and friends, that they also reflect back on the sacrifices of our patriot ancestors and give thanks for the founding fathers who left us the building blocks of this great nation. Perhaps read Washington's Thanksgiving Proclamation together as a family. But more than anything, I just wish, on behalf of the 38,000 members of the Sons of the American Revolution, I wish your audience the very best of Thanksgivings and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, President General Dodd. We hope that you and your family have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving as well. Now, we want to talk a little bit about the history of this holiday and the way that it was celebrated by our founding fathers. First, most people look at Thanksgiving as having started with the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe of Native Americans in 1621. At least that is generally recognized as the first Thanksgiving festival celebrated within the colonies. Now, there are many different versions of this story, some going back to as far as 1565, and then another one in 1619. But the principle of giving thanks through prayer and reflection for the bounties received or the safe passage of family or military victories or learning how to survive in a new world is the one consistency throughout all versions of Thanksgiving.
Well, Jim, we do not intend to go back to the beginning of Thanksgiving, but rather to focus on the period around the Founding Fathers and the American Revolution. The fact is that there were numerous Thanksgiving proclamations. The most famous were issued by George Washington and later by President Abraham Lincoln.
That is correct, Jim Maples. In the 18th century, Thanksgiving was referred to as Thank Days or Days of Thanks, and they were issued at various times of the year. The Days of Thanks were considered very solemn days. If you compare that to our Thanksgivings of today, I think you'll see that ours are not necessarily very solemn. But thankfully, much of the emphasis on prayer and spiritual reflection is still in place today.
Most people agree that the original Day of Thanks within the United States, assuming that you define the United States as starting on July the 4th, 1776, was December the 18th, 1777. This Day of Thanks was proclaimed by the Second Continental Congress on November the 1st, 1777, in recognition of the victory at the Battle of Saratoga.
So I'm going to read you the text of the proclamation. It's fairly lengthy, but at least it gives you an idea of what the government officials were thinking at that time. So here goes. Forasmuch as it is the indispensable duty of all men to adore the superintending providence of Almighty God, to acknowledge with gratitude their obligation to Him for benefits received, and to implore such farther blessings as they stand in need of, and it having pleased Him in His abundant mercy, not only to continue to us the innumerable bounties of His common providence, but also to smile upon us in the prosecution of a just and necessary war for the defense and establishment of our unalienable rights and liberties, particularly in that He hath been pleased in so great a measure to prosper the means used for the support of our troops and to crown the arms with most signal success. It is therefore recommended to the legislative and executive powers of these United States to set apart Thursday, the 18th day of December next, for the solemn thanksgiving and praise that at one time and with one voice the good people may express with grateful feelings of their hearts and consecrate themselves to the service of their divine benefactor. Now, this is not the entire proclamation, but that entire proclamation is available online, and it is actually displayed on a screen behind us.
Okay, well, Jim, I guess you noticed the language back then was just a little bit different than the language of today, and also
it's actually hard to follow.
Yes, and notice that it was a December, right before Christmas, when they were going to celebrate. There were additional Thanksgiving proclamations from 1778 to 1784, then a quiet period, which ran from 1785 to 1788. But in 1789, George Washington would issue the first Thanksgiving proclamation by a U.S. president in the celebration of the ratification of the United States Constitution. Thanksgiving was then celebrated whenever proclamations were issued. Some of these proclamations call for fasting and humiliation, but then Thanksgiving, Jim, just kind of went away. At least officially, there were no days of thanks from 1816 until 1862. And 1862 is when Abraham Lincoln revived the celebration of Thanksgiving.
So Thanksgiving has been celebrated every year since 1862, but it was not an official federal holiday until 1941, when it was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But one more little known fact about Thanksgiving. Did you know that there is someone who is considered to be the mother of Thanksgiving? The mother of Thanksgiving. I've never heard this before. It is true, though. Her name was Sarah Josepha Hale, and she lobbied the United States government for over 30 years in the 1800s to officially recognize Thanksgiving. By 1854, there were 30 states or territories that celebrated Thanksgiving in some form or fashion. And although she never saw Thanksgiving as an official holiday, Her influence on the creation of the holiday absolutely was immense. She is rarely recognized for her contribution to Thanksgiving. Instead, here's the crazy fact. Instead, Sarah Josepha Hale is more famously known as the author of the children's poem, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And that, my friends, is a Revolutionary War rarity. We hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving Day and a safe and happy Christmas season. My name is Jim Griffith.
And my name is Jim Maples, and we thank you for joining us today, and please be sure to join us for the next episode of Revolutionary War Rarities. This has been a production of the National Society Sons of the American Revolution, www.sar.org.